was officially the World Heart Day 2021 as an annual Heart Day that actually comes out. If you are to look at some of the situations that actually happened at the Uganda Heart Institute, where the honorable ministers that were present in terms of, there was a permanent Ministry of Health, the board of directors from the Uganda Heart Institute, the executive director, Uganda Heart Institute, plus the staff of the Uganda Heart Institute that were also present on the day. Some of the key highlights that were actually making way throughout the entire day in regards to the Heart Institute, that is as we were commemorating the World Heart Day, is the fact that if you had to actually look at the speech that was presented by Minister Jane Ruth Acheng, who is the Minister of Health, the State Minister of Health, that is the Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng Ochebo. She actually came out and highlighted some of the few things that on behalf of the government and on the behalf of the Ministry of Health, they wish to extend their sincere gratitude and appreciation to the following bodies in making sure that the Uganda Heart Institute is being maintained and being utilized very well to see that the cases of heart attacks in Uganda or heart-related diseases or chronic diseases that affect the heart are greatly touched to the actually put into action, and the people, all the patients, are actually being worked upon. She actually came out and thanked the founding bodies of the institute, namely the Ministry of Health, Makerere University, Mulago Hospital, and that is the Mulago National Specialized Hospital, and the Uganda Heart Foundation, with whom the institute may not have been established, to see that they actually focus on the heart diseases in the country. She actually points out that the country, as a country, is rapidly increasing in the knowledge about the causes, prevention, and the treatment of heart diseases in Uganda. And while the most historical researches on the diseases in Uganda have focused on HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, as well as other infections, and of recent COVID-19, the new research is now focusing on cardiovascular diseases, which include rheumatic heart disease, coronary artery disease, and he also looked at the hypertension as evidenced by the prolific publication and awards by the institute. She therefore calls upon every one of the Ugandans and all the key stakeholders in regards to the Heart Institute to take action and see that they engage in the activities of promoting the Uganda Heart Institute. Those are some of the highlights from the World Heart Day that was transpiring during the 29th of September 2021. All right, now let's head into our topical analysis of the day in regards to the stories that we've had today. And on our first story in the second hour news, these are some of the keynotes that we've actually understood, and those are some of those key highlights that I've actually been able to look at that. As the Worldwide Fund Director, Mr. David Dooley, has urged the government to implement policies that will strengthen green tourism in Uganda. Now, while he was speaking to journalists, Dooley says that such policies will be of help in reducing global emissions that have negative impacts on the economic activities across the world, not only in Uganda. Now, he made the remarks after Uganda joined other countries to commemorate the World Tourism Day, and the tourism theme was inclusive tourism tourism for inclusive growth was the main theme, as Uganda was joining the rest of the world to commemorate the World Tourism Day. And green tourism provides more enjoyable experiences for tourists through more meaningful connections with the local people and a greater understanding of the local culture, social and environmental issues. As we are looking at the way of the country to rejuvenate the tourism sector, we should not forget about climate change and its effects in that regard, because in most cases, the tourism activities that are taking center stage in Uganda sometimes affect the environment. That is why the Worldwide Fund Director, Mr. David Dooley, came out and mentioned that green tourism That stands for small-scale tourism, which involves visiting natural sites as well as minimizing environment impact. And in a nutshell, this type of tourism is actually minimizing and works on to reverse the negative effects of travel. These include overcrowding as well as the destruction of heritage and the environment globalization. As Dr. David Gully, who is the country director of the Worldwide Fund, has therefore urged the government to implement policies that will strengthen green tourism, which has been abused for several times in Uganda. And the reason as to why it is so is we need to protect the environment in a way that we can attract more people who know Uganda as the Pearl of Africa. Now, the Pearl of Africa is known because of the green environment or the green pastures that are available in the country. So that means for people to actually carry on with the following situations, they have to make sure, the thing is, they have to make sure that they follow up with the green tourism by promoting all sectors of the tourism in Uganda. Now, tourism has demonstrated resilience in the face of the global economic downturn. As globally, the tourism industry generated more than $1 trillion US in 2010, according to the World Tourism Organization, that is the WTO. And ecotourism, characterized by responsible travel to natural areas that promotes conservation of the environment, therefore, is one of the fastest growing segments of tourism worldwide, and is one of those sectors in Uganda that attracts most of the tourists, because the tourists will want to come in Uganda not only to watch the wild animals or the other or maybe the cultures in Uganda, but to see the available the available scenario here in terms of the vegetation in Uganda, and to see the available beautiful scenery from the natural areas in Uganda, talk about the weather and talk about all the situations here in Uganda. And this is actually on a growing it is actually a growing pace of more than 20% annually, 2 to 3 times faster than the tourism industry overall, if we are to look at the ecotourism sector. And the benefits of ecotourism following to the local businesses are dramatically higher than those from mass tourism. Now, if you look at the mass tourism of where people engage in activities of visiting wild parks or visiting different areas to look at maybe the Uganda tourism sites, if you're to look at the different architecture that was actually there, or to discover more archaeological sites in Uganda, if you look at the ecotourism that focuses more on the natural sites, it's actually booming more than the mass tourism. Why? Because most people are interested in the beautiful scenery that is categorized in the ecotourism sector. Speak about the available waterfalls, the beautiful forests, people actually go for game trekking. People actually go and visit different waterfalls in the country, different mountains as well, more of the ecotourism in Uganda. And that is why the Worldwide Fund Director, Mr. David Dooley, comes out and calls out every one of the participants or the stakeholders in the tourism sector to actually take more or to further certify the Uganda tourist products for easy identification and marketing, because this would definitely be a way to open the minds to the world, that they will actually realize that we have different but the same aspect of the ecotourism worldwide. Now let's first take a look at this particular story in regards to the Worldwide Fund Director urging the government and the stakeholders in the tourism sector to also focus more on ecotourism. More of this report.
Green tourism provides more enjoyable experiences for tourists through more meaningful connections with local people and a greater understanding of the local culture, social and environmental issues. Green tourism stands for small-scale tourism, which involves visiting natural areas while minimizing environmental impacts. In a nutshell, this type of tourism tries to both minimize and reverse the negative effects of travel. This includes overcrowding, the destruction of heritage, and the environmental globalization. While speaking to journalists, David Dooley, the country director, Worldwide Fund, has therefore urged the government to implement policies that will strengthen green tourism, which has been abused for several years in Uganda.
First of all, it has to be premised on the fact that you are going to reduce consumption, you are going to reduce pollution, you are going to reduce usage of materials. For example, when I talk usage of material, how much of the greenhouse gas emission or carbon dioxide do you bring out by participating in tourism activities? When you are doing agriculture, which is supporting tourism activity, which is providing services to the hotel, how green, how smart is that agriculture in terms of water usage, soil conservation, and so on, and the use of pesticides? How do you really make sure that you are doing business clean? And then one thing that is also very important about this is that we are looking at sustainability. We are looking at something that can go on and on and on and on without being destroyed. So how do you manage consumptive use under tourism without depleting the resources of tourism? Those are the critical things that we need to think. And then what investment do you need to put in to ensure that this happens? Because it's not going to be like business like as usual. You are going to change your transport systems. Other than using diesel vehicles, you probably need to have a hybrid vehicle. So there must be a policy that allows that to happen.
Tourism has demonstrated resilience in the face of the global economic downturn. Globally, the tourism industry generated more than $1 trillion in 2010, and that was according to the World Tourism Organization. Green tourism, characterized by responsible travel to natural areas that promotes conservation of the environment, therefore, is one of the fastest growing segments of tourism worldwide and is growing at a pace of more than 20% annually, 2 to 3 times faster than the tourism industry overall.
And I've been talking about green tourism and greening tourism. This is really consistent with well over thinking about reducing the global emission that has ravaged the globe in terms of the climate impacts, which we are seeing every day, impacting on our livelihoods, impacting on our infrastructure, impacting on a number of things, economic activities. So when we talk about greening tourism, we are really talking about moving into a path that brings into the benefits along the value chain from the common person who is a custodian of a protected area where the animals do exist, where the tourists come to visit, to that tourist who has traveled all the way from that long distance to come and see those facilities that you need. And what are the incentives that will make you to recycle water in your premise? And then the architectural design. How are you going to design your hotels and buildings to ensure that they are consistent with the environment? You are not going to put blocks and blocks in places. So how are you going to do that? And then finally, how is it going to benefit the environment? You must need to quantify that. That benefit must be real. And then the products that come from it, the short-term and medium-term and long-term returns from it must benefit everybody in the value chain, including the local person at the lowest level of the chain. This is very critical. It underpins what it takes to be green. I said green is not business as usual. So you need skillful handling, and that needs capacity building. Now, capacity building in services. So those services must be certified. The guides which are taking you into the green tourism development path must be certified and provide for you that service, that professional certified service along the green line. This is a guide who will tell you don't throw plastic bottles there, or you will be able to collect the plastic bottle. These are the guides who will be able to have water bottles which are reusable and give to their clients. So these are the guides who will explain to you the complexity, interrelationship between what is showing you and nature. for you to appreciate. So that is satisfying the service. So that's one aspect of guiding.
The benefits of green tourism flowing to local businesses are dramatically higher than those from the mass tourism. Standard all-inclusive package tours deliver just 20% of the revenue to local companies, while the rest is captured by airline, hotels and large tour companies. Ecotourism operations are based locally and can turn as much as 95% of the earnings into the local economy. Duli further urged to stakeholders to satisfy Ugandan tourist products for easy identification and marketing.
Management, but then certifying the products itself, the hard products, the articrafts, the handcrafts that we sell out there must not be just, coming from anywhere. They must be coming from sustainably managed areas, like the wood carvings and so on and so. So they must have a certificate that transit across border. If you cross one country to the other and you say, where is it coming from? They just look at it, say it's from Uganda, it's from a certified forest. Perfect, go. And you have paid $100+ on top of that, other than paying maybe $10 on something which is not certified, which is even going to be confiscated. So that would bring frustration, and that would reduce the quality. So your products must be certified. Very important.
Finally, it is the way to open our minds to the world and the realization that we are all different, but we are also the same. And doing it responsibly gives us an opportunity to learn through meaningful connections with local people and to get better understanding of the local culture, as well as social and environmental issues. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24.
Okay, now, I see when you go out and tour, I want you to give me this feedback. If you ever go out and toured a place, if you have ever gone out, if you'll excuse me, if you've ever gone out and toured a place in Uganda, what made you love that place? Because if we are to start reconsidering the idea as to why most of us love traveling, is we want to create memories, but not only do we want to create memories, but most of us also want to discover new things as well. And the others who are so artistic in nature want to see the beauty in Uganda as well. So promoting ecotourism is more of the beautiful scenery. As you can see in the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, or formerly known as the zoo, you can see that these wild animals are actually living in in an environment that is green, in a green environment, well designed, beautiful, and well composed, as you could definitely see within the story as well. That is the importance of ecotourism, because if we put more effort in creating room, there is an agricultural park in Malaysia. It is an agricultural park where it is seen as a tourist site. And in this particular park, schools, different tourists from different foreign countries, and even the domestic tourists as well, always go in there to view the beautiful scenery there. It is mainly agriculture, filled with green environments only. So this shows you how different countries are preserving, or they are conserving their environment by promoting it in a tourism aspect, and that is actually helping them out as well. So if at all you are home, I'm thinking of what does ecotourism actually mean? If you're to look at that, ecotourism operations hire locally and are mainly locally, and can, as much as the mass tourism, earn more money to the economy than any other sector in the country. Because why? We are the Pearl of Africa, and we definitely have a lot of beautiful scenery in the country. And if we utilize the beautiful scenery that we have in the country, believe me, it can be of more importance to see that we attract a number of tourists. And you see, if you have to look at the foreign tourists who are most interested in the scenery here to create content, maybe some people actually come here to view that content that they can use for future use, to get souvenirs as well. You can see these memories are beautiful when in the background It's a beautiful scene of a green environment as the Pearl of Africa. So if we are to look at a way of opening our minds to the world and the realization that we are all different but are the same in regards to the environment, and doing it responsibly, this will give us an opportunity to learn through meaningful connections with local people and to get a better understanding of the local culture as well as social and the environmental issues. All right, now that brings us to the end of our topical discussion in regards to the basic stories. But do not change your destination in regards to the TV stations that you tuned in, regards to the TV station that you tuned in at this particular moment, because coming up I have more of the business stories, so keep it SMB.